Enshrouded does not hold your hand, and trust me, I learned that the hard way. A lot of my early game was just a highlight reel of very frequent, very embarrassing deaths. Hey folks, I'm Ash, and today I'll be sharing 12 things I wish I knew from the start, so you can skip that whole trial and error phase entirely. So get ready to chop some wacky wavy inflatable tube trees and let's dive in. While there are towers scattered across the map that act as teleport locations, there is simply not enough of them given the sheer size of the world. That is where the flame altars come into play. They are super cheap to make, costing only 5 stone each, so whenever you're doing something risky, plop one down as a checkpoint. There is a catch though. You can only have a limited number of altars as determined by your flame level. So once you're done with an area, just teleport to the altar, deactivate it, and then warp away. Easy peasy. But here's the fun part. The altar also counts as a base marker, which means you can build around it. What I'm getting at is, bring a workbench with you. That way you can always repair your gear out in the world. Your weapons and tools are effectively useless at 0 durability, but for the low price of one single inventory slot, you'll never again be caught swinging a wet noodle at enemies ever again. Enshrouded has a ridiculous amount of consumables. Health potions, elixirs, food, you name it. First of all, you can have 3 different food buffs going on at once. 1 drink to refill your stamina and 2 foods that boost your stats. They are very cheap to make and give you a massive boost, especially early on, so do make sure you're stuffed before you stumble into danger. As for the bandages and health potions, they should be permanent residents of your hotbar. Healing options are super limited in the early game, so unless you enjoy sleeping with skeletons on long abandoned beds, having portable regen you can pop mid-fight will be a lifesaver. With elixirs, do not fall into the classic RPG trap of hoarding them for a later that will likely never come. Just chug the weird mushroom juice whenever you need to. It'll save your life against bosses or big enemy packs, and you'll find plenty in chests and scavenger camps, so don't be stingy. I'm gonna be honest with you, I hate busy work in games, so I ignored farming since the moment I unlocked it. Eventually, a quest forced me to do it, and yeah, as it turns out, farming here is actually quite straightforward and very rewarding. It is as simple as tossing flowers into a seed maker, planting them rather haphazardly around your base, and then coming back later to harvest a frankly absurd amount of resources. It is minimal effort, yet those ingredients will keep your various buffs stocked for many hours. The same thing goes for the animals. Capture a few goats, dump a ridiculous pile of food in their pen, and then basically forget about them until it's time to collect their precious stamina recovering milk. It is easy, it is efficient, and you also get some adorable goats wandering around your base. Now that is a win-win situation. Enshrouded will bury you in loot. Crafting materials, random junk, shiny trinkets, all of it is needed for recipes across a dozen crafting stations. Even trying to organize all of that manually will drive you insane. So the moment magic chests pop up in your crafting menu, make sure to build them everywhere. These beauties let both you and your crafting stations pull items straight from them, which means no more dragging stacks of ingredients back and forth like some kind of fantasy postman. Just press R to dump everything that's not on your hotbar into magic chests and let the game sort it for you. And if you run out of room, that's not a problem at all, just build more. Magic chests are basically inventory management cheat codes, and once you start to use them, you will never ever want to go back. Trust me on that. Enshrouded offers a variety of different playstyles. Sword and board warriors, glass cannon mages, stealth archers, and so forth. The only way to know what's actually going to be fun for you is to try them all out. And luckily, the game makes respecking super easy, barely an inconvenience. As long as you're in your base, you can completely reset your build or just tweak a couple of talents at the Flame Altar for a laughably low cost. And that's it, there is no fuss whatsoever. Different builds do require different gear though. So here's the trick. Hoard every single interesting weapon or armor piece you encounter out in the wild. And then, once you have a full set, just swap into that playstyle for a little while and test it out. Before long, you'll have an assortment of very interesting builds to experiment with. And honestly, half the fun in Enshrouded is just swapping things around to see what kind of nonsense you can make work. So don't be lazy and try out different builds. While Enshrouded isn't a Souls-like, a lot of the same rules do apply. Respect the enemy and do not just mash buttons hoping for the best. Bait their attacks, parry or dodge to avoid damage, and then punish them once their guard is down. I know it sounds wrong, but slowing down actually makes the fights go by faster since rushing just gets you pancaked. There is also one super important thing you need to know. You cannot dodge while attacking. So, if you're up against a boss or something with a very mean set of teeth, take a second to learn their timing before swinging. It is a lot better to wait a second than to eat hit after hit directly to the forehead. Trust me on this, I speak from experience and a very dented head. No matter how good you are, you'll eventually run into fights you simply cannot win head on. When that happens, play it smart. Pull enemies in small groups, sneak around the edges, or carve up those annoying archers and mages before their bodyguards can catch up. And if you are really having trouble, you can always climb a nearby roof or cliff and laugh at the poor fools that cannot reach you. If you do this, just make sure you clear out the ranged enemies first, for obvious reasons. And if you do accidentally aggro the entire camp, don't be a hero, just run. You are faster and more mobile than most enemies, so make sure to use that. Heal up, circle back in from a better angle, and then enjoy some righteous vengeance. Combat in Enshrouded is brutal because both you and your enemies are glass cannons. You can shred them in no time flat, but they can also shred you just as fast. That is why upgrading your gear is a must. Each new tier is a big leap in armor and stats, and the game's balance assumes you're keeping pace. So do not slack. Just craft better gear as soon as you're able and you will be golden. And while you can punch above your level, there is also no real reason to do that unless you're in it for the challenge. So if you're in an area that is just stomping you flat, that is the game politely telling you go somewhere else. Enshrouded's world is honestly absurdly big, so there is no shortage of level-appropriate enemies waiting to ruin your day. There really is no need to make things even harder on yourself. Much like old-school Dungeons & Dragons, mages in Enshrouded start off, well, tragically weak. Low damage, barely any spells, and about as sturdy as a sheet of wet paper. So unless you really like pain, I wouldn't recommend starting as a mage. I know, it's not exactly the power fantasy you signed up for, but don't worry, it does get better. First of all, mixing a few magical items and spells into your build is always handy, so you can still use a bit of magic while leveling. And then, once you're around level 15 to 20, you'll have enough skill points and proper gear to respec into a true mage. And once you have that, you'll be able to burn through enemies like they're nothing. The glow up is real. Enshrouded prefers to let you do things your own way, so it doesn't force quests upon you. But you should still do them as you explore. They give you good loot, some rather interesting bits of lore, and most importantly, unlock new NPCs and crafting recipes. Because of this, skipping them basically means you're locking yourself out from some really fun stuff, so just don't do that. Quests are also the best guide for where to go next, as they'll generally point you towards level appropriate enemies. So if you're wandering aimlessly, just check your quest log for anything highlighted in green. Odds are you missed an important area, or some poor villager that has been waiting there for 3 actual weeks for you to rescue them. The tutorial does mention the shroud routes, but honestly, it seriously undersells them. Smashing one in the open world gives you 1 skill point, while the ones inside the shroud wells will give you an insane 3. For context, you only get 2 skill points per level, and leveling is very slow. So whenever you're near a shroud zone, make sure to keep an eye out for those wacky, wavy, inflatable tube trees. Taking down even a couple early on will give you a massive power boost and let you kickstart your build way faster than grinding levels ever could. Normally, I don't like telling people which talents to pick or avoid. Half of the fun in pretty much any game is experimenting with builds for yourself. But I will make an exception here. Double jump and updraft are non-negotiable. They might sound like small quality of life perks, but they are ridiculously strong. With just a few points, you'll be able to dodge any trap, easily avoid enemies, and scale sheer cliffs like you've been possessed by the ghost of the Skyrim horse. But you don't have to take my word. Respecking is basically free, so try them out for at least half an hour. And I promise you, you will never ever want to have a build without them. They really are that good. And there you have it, 12 tips that will hopefully make your first journey through Enshrouded as nice and pleasant as a world overrun with deadly mushrooms will ever allow. If you have any questions about the guide or Enshrouded in general, let me know in the comments. I'll do my best to help out. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more like this, make sure to subscribe, like the video, hit the stupid bell, bet your favorite magic chest, and do whatever other nonsense you gotta do these days. Thank you for sticking to the very end, and I hope you have a lovely day. Bye bye!